Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory. Today, we've got a couple of goals in mind. We're hoping to end this day by making the space elevator. Now, in order to make the space elevator, we're going to get all of this fully automated a lot better than what we have right now. Right now, we've only really got iron that's fully automated, but I'd like to get copper as well as limestone way over there. I'd like to get the limestone fully set up on automation as well. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that if you look up at the top left corner, it says that I am on the experimental build. I decided to go ahead and upgrade my Satisfactory to version 1.1 while waiting for the full release to come out. So this is still an experimental build. The primary reason I did that, not even joking, is for the enhanced photo mode, where you can actually decouple the camera and kind of move it around. I did that so that way I could get shots like this. And I did that primarily so that way we can get good aerial views of our factory like that. Mainly because before the 1.1 experimental update, the photo mode was pretty restricted to just this, really. Just being able to just walk around and be like, oh look, a bean, boop. But now we actually have the ability to do like cool cinematic panoramic shots and things like that. But enough dilly-dallying. Let's actually get started with today's video. I've gone ahead and taken some time to actually get all of the materials that I'm gonna need. I'm short one cable. How did I do that? But I went ahead and took some time to go ahead and get all the materials I'm gonna need to go ahead and get the base building launched, as well as logistics and obstacle clearing. So I am going to be skipping a couple of technologies, primarily field research and part assembly, but I have a very specific plan on what I want to get done this episode, and what that's going to involve is getting all of these things fully automated, as well as getting a much better power system set up. And in order to get that done, I only really need base building, logistics, and oh, whoops, wrong button. Base building, logistics, and obstacle clearing. So now, we just have to wait for the pod to return. So, I'll see y'all in a minute. Alright, it looks like the freighter has re-entered. I decided to go ahead and get a little bit distracted with this. Oh, I missed it. Dang it. Oh, come on. Just place. And then I'm gonna get this here, and then I'm gonna get... Oh geez, oh geez, oh geez, oh geez. I don't think I can fit anything else. I'm sending. Oh, I am so low on time. Let's just collect that. Let's pop this here. Pop another one in here. Send! Okay, 462. Not great. Not great at all. Jeez. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at that. But... alas, here I am. Let's go ahead and send the next milestone down. We're gonna go ahead and launch again. Okay, so I'm gonna take some time to go ahead and get all the materials we're going to need to start on a small starter base. I'm thinking that what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to take some ramps and kind of just run up here a little bit and get a little bit of elevation going, and then build something just big right on top of this lake. So yeah, I will see y'all in a bit. First thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to start with opening up our menu. And what we're going to do is set up a building hotbar down here. So I'm going to hold down left Alt, and then I'm going to scroll up on the mouse wheel. And what I'm going to do is whenever I hover over something, I'm just going to click a button on my hotbar. So I want the 2 meter foundations to be the first thing on my hotbar. So I go ahead and hover over it and I click on 1. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the ramp, except I'm going to click on 2. And then I'm going to go over to basic walls and click on 3. That's going to make it so that way I can just kind of quickly hotkey to any one of these. Now, whenever we start to place, the first thing that I would recommend that you do whenever you start placing down stuff is that you start off with a 2-meter foundation and you hold down control. What control is going to do is that it's going to align it to something called the world grid. Basically, this is how we're going to make sure that all of our builds across this world will line up, not necessarily by what angle they're facing, but also, more importantly, by the height that they are. And that's also partly the reason why I say to do a 2-meter instead of a 1-meter, is that the 1-meter, you can end up locking on to like a halfway point. So the 2-meter will allow for you to lock on to a full round digit. I'm going to go ahead and place down the first of many foundations, and then I'm going to hotkey over onto 2, the ramp. Now, the cool thing about the ramp, the cool thing about a lot of what we can do here is that we can also hold down E, and that's going to allow for us to pick different elevations for that ramp. Anything that is within one of these categories, you can always hold down E whenever you have one of them selected. With the ramps, we hold down E. We can go to a shorter ramp, or the medium ramp, or the big boy. Whenever I have the basic wall in, I can hold down E, and I can select other stuff, within that wheel. Now, instead of holding down E, I can also just tap E, and that'll actually just cycle through them, which will be totally fine for what we have right now. Later on, there can be like 15 items within one wheel. So you'll either have to cycle through all of the different items or you hold down E. It's really just up to you at that point. Now we've got a build ramp. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit R. And that is going to allow for me to build in a mode called Zoop. What Zoop is going to allow for me to do is that I can place down a ramp and then I can drag. And that's going to allow for me to place a whole lot of ramps all at once. So I'm going to go up until about 8 ramps high, and then I'm also going to go ahead and place one right here just so that way we can walk up it pretty easily. And I'm going to go ahead and delete that foundation just because I'm low on building materials. So now whenever I walk up here, we're going to have a nice little spot up here. I'm going to go ahead and grab my 2-meter foundation on Zoop mode. And I'm just going to drag him all the way over. Place a full 10. And I'm going to do that 2, 3, 4, and 5 times for now. And as you can see, we now have a very nicely sized platform to start with. I think what the first thing that I'm going to do is that I am going to start with our power setup. I'm going to get power set up here, and then I'm going to start worrying about production buildings. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of all of these other to-do list things that I have going on right now. And I am going to want to have 6 biomass burners up here. I'm also going to want to have, let's see here, 3 constructors and let's see here, I believe 4 storage containers. And as you can see, I already have the majority of those materials. I just need to get a couple of the smaller stuff. So I'll be right back with all of those materials, and I'll see y'all in a minute. And I just remembered I'm actually also going to need some splitters as well as some mergers. I don't remember the exact count that I'm going to need, so I'm going to just leave them both at 10 and just prepare for needing 10. I know I won't need 10, so yeah. With that, I'll see y'all in a bit. Alright, so we're going to start this off with some storage containers. We're going to do one here, and we're going to do one here. We're going to lead those storage containers straight into a couple of constructors. Whenever you hold down control here, what that's going to do is that's going to make sure that the input hole for the constructor is perfectly lined up with the output hole of the storage container. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, go ahead and hold down control, And now I'm making sure that it's lined up on both planes. One of them with the constructor, the other one with the storage container. So go ahead and place that down as well. Then we're going to come over here onto this side, and we are going to place down a merger. Making sure that he's lined up. And then with hitting the middle mouse button, we're going to select another storage container. And we're going to place down another storage container right here. And then another constructor here. One more storage container. And I'm actually going to turn him 90 degrees, facing this way. And then we're going to go to our power section and grab our biomass burners. And we're going to place 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to drop, oh nope, not a merger, splitters. Splitter here, here, and here. Then we're just going to go ahead and connect all of this up. A cool thing that they added in 1.1 is actually the ability to make a curved conveyor belt. So you'll see that it's got a nice little curve to it. It's not a default and it's not a straight, it's somewhere in the middle. Which that can look good in certain scenarios. I think for what we're doing right now though, we're just sticking straight. Here, here. Connect this guy straight across. Set this guy here, and then go ahead and make sure all of these are connected. Now, you might be wondering why I chose 6 specifically. Now, the reason why I did that is because our current belts are stuck at 60 items per minute. And the solid biofuel that we're going to be using, actually, I could bump that up. I just realized I had my math wrong. I was thinking that the solid biofuel for some reason was at 10 per minute. I could really bump this up. And I might do later. I think I'm actually going to take 10 minutes now and move this whole setup one more block over to the left. And the reason I want to do that is so that way, whenever I want to expand this later, I can just keep it going this way. Because right now, if I wanted to expand it, I would only be able to expand out this side and not both sides at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, whenever I am deleting, I see some people that'll just take out their dismantling tool and just start clicking items one at a time like this. We don't live in the Stone Ages anymore. We've received updates since those days. Now you can just hold down control, or in this case, I am tapping control. And that's allowing for me to select specific items. And so now all of those items are selected, hold down left, all of them are gone. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute or so to place the biomass burners back down. I'll see you all again in a couple minutes. And with that, they're moved over by 1 block. So that's going to be a lot easier to expand down the road. Now, all that we need to do is actually connect all of these suckers up to power. So let's grab a power line, drop one right there, connect those up, drop another power line here, 1, 2, and then one more here, 1 and 2. Now I'm going to take the power line and drag it on over here, And I'm going to actually place them about here. Connect there. As well as, let's see here, how do I want to do this? I'm going to drop another power line here to connect these two guys up. And that'll give me some room to be able to pull off of this one if I need to later. Yeah, that works. Perfect. Now I'm just going to go ahead and select what I want everything to do. So one of these is going to be on leaf duty. The other one is going to be on wood duty. You'll notice that the wood duty one is going to be pushing items out at 300 per minute. Now, we don't have any kind of belt to be able to actually support those kinds of speeds right now, so this whole system will not be running efficiently, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We've got the technology that we've got. And then we're going to bring it out over to a biofuel constructor. Now, one of the first upgrades that we are going to make whenever we do get access to Mark II belts, we are going to go ahead and replace this belt here with a Mark II belt, so that way we actually are able to make solid biofuel efficiently, because right now we're only going to be pushing 30 per minute. But it is what it is. I don't think that we're actually going to need 30 per minute, at least not for a good little while. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of these suckers powered up. And yeah, get this kind of started and underway. We've got the solid biofuel being produced automatically right now with just a little bit of extra biomass that we had just kind of laying around, not being used up yet. And these suckers are fully underway and powering stuff up. And this is the starts of our very first power plant, guys. So yeah, now that I have that done and dusted and underway, I think we can go ahead and get started on, for one, expanding out this platform a good bit, and then after that get started on actually producing a couple of the different items that we need to be producing. Let's get started on all that now.
2 hours later.
Alright guys, and one thing I'm going to show you that I learned probably close to a year ago now. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of that section of foundation. I'm going to replace it with a 1 meter height foundation. Then I'm going to come over here. We're going to drag a piece of conveyor belt to about right here. You don't need to go out this far. I just prefer the way how it curves there. And we're going to line this up going the whole way down. Okay, so now that we have all the conveyor belts placed out, we're going to take out our dismantling tool. We're going to get rid of not just the foundation, but also the conveyor poles at each step along the way. Now, the reason that we're taking out the conveyor poles specifically is actually to like kind of prevent some like in-game lag scenarios. It's not something that's required by any means, but it is kind of just good practice. We're going to go ahead and replace all of this with a 2 meter foundation. And now, what this is allowed for is that whenever I am coming through here, and I'm like, oh geez, I need another stack of cables, instead of going, that's the wire, that's the cable, I'll just know. It's all out here, ready for me to see. It's basically having a sign before you actually have signs in the game. Which we will be unlocking signs. Probably not too far down the road, but yeah. They are a good replacement for the early game. So yeah. And now that we have all of that in place, I think all that we've got left to do is build out our foundation a little bit more and throw in a space elevator. So yeah, with that, I will see y'all got you. With that, I will see you guys in a bit. And boom! Now we've got that in place. I'm gonna go ahead and mark the base foundation as complete. Oh, whoops. And we can even, I forgot to mention this whenever I unlock the tier, because I was just kind of unlocking everything. But we now have access to the lookout tower. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a tall tower. So yeah, and now we can see, from even up here, I've got that little border that goes all the way around my little base here. Alrighty, everyone, we've got it locked into place. I've got it nudged exactly where I want it. And now, boom. So cool. And with that, we've got everything marked on our checklist. Alright, everybody. I believe that we have done a whole lot in today's episode. Next episode, I'm expecting us to do a lot of exploration, getting into some of the collectibles that you can find throughout the game. I'm also expecting us to get into the next tier of automation, that being assemblers. Assemblers are going to be extra tricky because they're going to require 2 inputs, whereas constructors only required 1. Aside from that, we might get into some of the jump pads, and we might even do resource sinks in the next episode. I'm not 100% sure yet. But either way, it is sure to be a fun one. I hope that you all stick around, and that you are all able to watch the next episode as well as this one. If you did like this episode, please do feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Aside from that, I'll see you all next time. Take care. You good there, bro? What you got going on? This game's so silly sometimes.